What's going on, everyone? We hope you had a great weekend and are ready for an exciting week in the market. Over the weekend, Bitcoin went crazy, as it has been, and hit highs of 99,800, which is crazy to say, and there's going to be no shortage of excitement this week, even though this week will be shorter than usual due to the Thanksgiving holiday. Some crazy things to keep on the schedule this week, of course, are everything related to crypto, but we even have some exciting earnings, some exciting economic events, and even some funny business going on in Iran and Russia right now. In today's video, we're going to cover everything you have to know and some great setups to keep on your radar. So make sure to stick with us all the way until the end. But besides that, Tom, let's get right to it.
Yeah, it's been awesome to be a trader here in the short term, Mike. There's been some amazing movement, whether we look at the crypto stocks like MicroStrategy or Coinbase, which were popping off last week, besides the end of the week. But nonetheless, there's been some great movement in the short term. It's been a great time to be a trader. We did want to say first thing right here at the start of the video, it's going to be a short week. On Thursday, the market will be closed, and then there's also an early close at 1 p.m. on Friday as well. So keep that in mind, an early close on Friday. It's a little bit different, but we wanted to make sure that everybody had that down. But Mike, everybody's looking at crypto stocks right now. Everybody's talking about Bitcoin getting close to 100,000. I thought over this weekend, I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to see it. But Bitcoin ended up pulling back a little bit right as it got to 99,800. It was only $200 away from that big level. Guys, let me know in the comments. Do you think that we'll actually break 100,000 this week or not? Let me know, because the hype is definitely there and everybody's talking about Bitcoin stocks.
No doubt. And Tom, I can't help but believe, or I can't help but think about what all of the people on Polymarket are thinking right now. There are millions of dollars bet that Bitcoin will break 100,000 in November, and it got so close to 99,800. And, you know, the end of November, it certainly isn't here yet, but I know some people are just like hawking this 100K level. So yeah, the crypto market is still going crazy. You know, of course, Bitcoin itself is crushing it, and even some other just like individual like cryptos and even meme coins. But like in a stock sense, some of the recent gainers have been like stocks like CLSK, MARA, IBIT, and others. Of course, some of the more popular ones, like broadly speaking, are stocks like MSTR, Coinbase, and others. But you know, those stocks have been like slowing down just a little bit. But like some other like stocks that are really starting to gain some momentum, like I said, CLSK, MARA, and IBIT. So definitely keep them on the radar for this week.
Yeah, and of course, IBIT just started trading options as well just last week, so that's awesome there, and it couldn't have come at a better time, right? As Bitcoin's hitting 100,000, this has been a great thing to watch as the options have hit the market, and I will say the chain hasn't been too bad. You know, there's a little bit of volume there. Granted, whenever we look at the implied volatility, it's around 77%, so not bad, but the at-the-money options are like right around $200, so not overly expensive or anything like that either with IBIT. And of course, this follows Bitcoin more directly. I get so many questions, Mike. I'm sure you do too. Why isn't MicroStrategy moving with Bitcoin? We have to remember that these companies are independent from Bitcoin while they deal a lot with it. And of course, MicroStrategy buys a lot of Bitcoin and holds it. At the end of the day, they are independent companies. They don't move one for one like IBIT would.
No doubt. So with this crypto boom in general, enjoy the uptrend. But guys, make sure you're putting yourself in a good position. It's awesome to see everyone make all this money, but you have to make sure that when that trend turns, you're more than willing to adapt and scale out along the way. Because if you're not, it can definitely lead to a lot of lost profits. So let's be smart, let's scale out, and, let's look for trend changes as they happen. But in the meantime, this crypto boom has been awesome. But another key thing to keep on the radar for this week is the earnings lineup. Like we said, it will be a little bit more of a slower week given the holiday, but we do have some exciting reports on Monday with stocks like Zoom, and even as the week goes by, we have companies like ANF before market open on Tuesday, and then Dell and CrowdStrike after the bell on Tuesday, and a couple others scattered throughout the week. But earnings season definitely is coming to an end.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of great reports, though, like just NVIDIA last week, and we've been seeing a lot of fun ones. So that's been, I'm actually glad, Mike, that it's starting to come to an end personally, because I'm kind of sick of hearing about him in the short term, honestly. But I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are tired of it too, especially considering some of the crazy movement. But Zoom will definitely be on watch, and even like DKS or CrowdStrike, pretty big players here. And then on the economic side of things, though, Mike, we actually have quite the lineup here. On Tuesday, we do have the FOMC minutes coming out at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And then on Wednesday, we have some GDP and PCE data coming out.
Sounds good. So both of these events definitely have market moving potential. Keep a close eye on Wednesday before market open for that PCE data. And then at Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern time for the FOMC minutes report. This should add a little bit more of a sprinkle to the volatility mix that we've been seeing lately. So that's awesome. And then as we look at the market as a whole right now, it has been doing pretty good as it's still pretty close to all-time highs. And as we know, the recent election has definitely been shaking the market up in multiple different ways, especially on the crypto front. But I saw some pretty interesting data over the weekend that basically shows that when you have, let's say, presidential cycles, especially for re-elected presidents, the first 3 years tend to be somewhat strong. And, year 4 certainly doesn't seem all that great, but the first 3 are, historically pretty good, which is, certainly a good thing to see.
Yeah, this is some pretty good data. And of course, the stock market generally does pretty well year over year. So of course, the data should be pretty positive. But year 4, I'll tell you, I'm going to be worried on Trump's 4th year there. That's going to be a rough one. But nonetheless, it is good to see, though, kind of reassuring, right, that the first couple years of a reelected presidency go pretty well by stock market standards. So that's a good piece of reassurance there, at least in my book. Now, of course, this data doesn't always mean it's going to play out that way, but it is a good one to look at.
No doubt. So that's good. But as we look more in depth at this recent SPY price action, what are the key levels and analysis that you see right now and that we should keep on the radar for the week?
Yeah, SPY has been pretty choppy, honestly. It was very choppy last week, but as we can tell, it was chopping to the upside. For the most part, there was some pretty good movement back up from Monday towards the end of the week. So pretty good movement overall, but very hard to play, I would say, especially on some of these moves intraday where you'd have like a crazy drop from 594 all the way down to 588 and then all the way back up, right? It was a very volatility-filled week. I'm going to be watching this week for a good break of the high of day Friday, right around 596.50 to 597. I want to break that range. That's also a pretty big resistance from the past as well. There's a lot of big resistances coming up, though, especially when we get to $600. That is a huge supply zone overhead, so that's going to be on watch, and a lot of people, I'm sure, are going to be watching 599 to 600, and they're going to be waiting to see if a lower high ends up posting. If that ends up posting here, that'll be a pretty rough thing to see out of the SPY. What most people are looking for this week, I think, is going to be a clear break of that $600 range.
Yeah, 600 is a massive resistance level, and it's not going to be easy to get through. Like, sure, we might see like a temporary break, but I am definitely a little bit concerned about this resistance overhead, not only because of its past resistance, like just like price action, but also the fact of it being like a key psychological level, especially at a time where we do have, some stocks, like even like NVIDIA, that are like a little bit wobbly. So as we look at like SPY for tomorrow, what would you say are some like more immediate levels to keep on the radar?
Yeah, 596.50 is definitely on watch. Like I said, that's a pretty big resistance from the past where we've seen a few hits. Once we get past there, I honestly think that we're pretty clear back up to 599 and then 600. There's not really too many touches around like 598 or 597. So I think that's at least a good sign for tomorrow. As far as support, there were a couple touches right around 594, 591, and then 590. If you're looking at good support levels back down, and of course 588 and 584 and 585 were some pretty big levels from last week as well. But if we hit those on Monday, we'll be dipping down pretty far.
Yeah, 594 is a key level in my opinion, not only just from the price action on Friday last week, but even towards the middle of November, on November 14th, there were multiple touches at 594, and even again on November 7th. So 594 has been a pretty pivotal level, and even just this area. So it's certainly one that we want SPY to hold, and if it doesn't, that will be a pretty hard loss. So either way, we will definitely keep that on the radar. But besides that, let's get right into some setups and predictions for the week. A stock that is close on my radar right now is XOP. For those of you who don't know, XOP is an ETF that follows the oil and gas, just industry as a whole. And as we look at this, we can see it has been doing pretty well over the past couple of weeks, which is a great thing to see. One thing that I think is very interesting right now is that we are seeing this sort of price action in a time where we are seeing increasing geopolitical tensions. Russia last week got pretty pissed that Ukraine not only received long-range missiles from the United States and the UK, but actually started firing them into Russia. I guess you could say Russia responded to that by firing hypersonic ballistic missiles into Ukraine, which is a decent escalation, and Russia signaled that more can certainly follow that. So either way, tensions are increasing in a bad way on that front, but at the same time, even Iran announced that they are preparing again to attack Israel, which again isn't a good sign. Either way, the more tensions we see, whether it be in Europe or in the Middle East, the worse it is for just oil supply. With that being said, we are seeing oil prices tick up a bit here in just given this whole situation. I will keep a very close eye on the oil industry as a whole, whether it be crude oil futures, XOP, some stocks like OXY or SHEL. Just the whole industry is definitely on my watch, and I'm definitely looking at it in a relatively bullish way. But in the more immediate term, XOP is on my bullish radar.
Yeah, and let's go. What a big money play. 6.8 million was called out on this one on October 1st, and that was pretty insane to see it moving up the way it was now. And I will say there was a lot of traders that had to exhibit some really good patience to hold through some of this chop before the move happened. And if you were able to trust and hold that support, great job to you. Let us know in the comments if you ended up doing well on XOP, because it is on fire. But with my first setup, Mike, I'm looking at a pretty crazy stock in the short term, and that is Tesla, TSLA. It's been all over the place, and we can see that it's been kind of stuck on the daily within this range here. I'm really looking for a clear break of the upper end of this range, around $360 for next week. If we can get a clear break there, I'm definitely looking for this range break to continue. So it tried to break on Friday, and it actually broke momentarily, but it ended up pulling right back. So I'm really going to be watching that 360 mark for a more clear breakout coming in on Monday and this week in general.
All right, sounds good. Tesla's one that's always good to have on the radar, so sounds good there. Another stock that is on close watch is ACHR. I know we've been talking about this stock a lot, but it has been crushing it. ACHR had a great week last week. It calmed down a little bit on Friday. It had some decent price action, just nothing too insane. Either way, there were two recent big money trades with this one, and the price action has been pretty strong, and it's still moving in a great strong way as a whole. Even on Friday, it still moved up by 4.5%, which is a lot for so many stocks out there. But when you compare it to Archer's recent performance, it makes it seem small. Either way, ACHR is on my bullish radar. It's great for everyone who's already in this play, but for those who aren't, it would be better to wait for a dip.
Yeah, I agree, Mike. And everyone's asking themselves, hey, are we going to be at $7 or $7.50 again soon? And I don't know. We might, at the way that these are moving. And, we can't forget that there was actual FAA regulations and stuff like that started going on with these air taxi companies, which really gave them this nice boost. So there's some real catalysts behind these runs too. With my next setup, I'm looking at Datadog, DDOG, doing very well in the short term. How could we not look at it? Another big money play that is starting to do great. It was breaking out above a recent range, and Gosh, Mike, some of these big money plays have been insane in the short term. But if we get a good break of the high from Friday on Datadog right around 155.50 to 156, I'm just going to look for the run to continue. And like you can tell from Thursday and Friday, the momentum's been pretty good on this one. So if we could catch a good run, it could end up being pretty decent here. And of course, like I said, that big money play was pretty fire too. 1.8 million, definitely no sloucher.
Yeah, Datadog is blasting, so sounds good there, and I love the recent momentum. So awesome, and let's jump right into today's momentum plays. And with the first one, we have AI to the upside.
Yeah, another one with crazy price action last week. AI was up 6.9% on Friday. If it can break out above $38, keep watching it higher.
All right, with the next one, we have SoFi also to the upside.
SOFI. They have a nice double top from Friday, right around 1575. So if they can break that, watch them up.
All right, and then with the last one, we have Enphase to the upside.
Yeah, all three to the upside this time. Enphase has been bouncing off support in a really good way. If they're able to break out above 67, watch for the continuation.
All right, so we have these three stocks on watch for potential upside momentum plays tomorrow if and only if they break through the levels listed. These stocks are on watch where the stronger and more consistent they move, the better the setups become. Understand that these stocks are crazy volatile and that you have to adapt with the trend changes. There's nothing worse than entering any play, whether it be a momentum play, a cryptocurrency, or quite literally anything else, to follow the initial trend, but just to bag hold as the trend changes. One key trait that all successful traders over the long term master is the willingness to adapt despite changing market conditions. So definitely keep that in mind. And besides that, let's jump right into today's $647,000 big money trade. And we are looking at ticker symbol BOX, box. On Friday, the big money bought the 34 strike call options that expire on December 20th of 2024. This is a $647,000 trade, and BOX has been uptrending pretty steadily over the past couple of months, and its implied volatility is also on the rise, which is a good thing to see. These calls are at the money, which is good to see, but they don't have like a ton of time to them, which isn't great. It's not bad. It just makes the trade more short term, which increases the risk a little bit. Either way, the stock has been uptrending in a pretty strong way. It closed up over 2% on Friday. The call options are at the money, and the options don't have like a ton of time to them, which makes this like a pretty aggressive short-term bullish trade. At the same time, it does have some pretty key resistance coming up right around like that $35 area. So this will be a pretty exciting breakout style setup to keep on the radar, and I'm excited to see how it does.
Oh my gosh, this one's an insane setup right at the resistance. It kind of scares me, but, a lot of stocks are breaking out in the short term, and if Box does end up breaking this $35 mark, that'll be a great move here, and the options will probably do pretty fantastic. I'll definitely be watching it for the short-term breakout. Of course, if the trend does change, there's a sharp rejection, then we might have to adapt a little bit, but I do like how it's in the money right now, and whenever you zoom out on like a weekly chart with Box, Mike, it is pretty insane, and whenever it's broken some key levels from the past, it's definitely had some pretty wild moves. So I'll definitely be waiting for that $35 mark to break, that's for sure.
Sounds good. So we'll definitely keep a close eye on this one going forward. But before we go on, we have to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, Crapman, who actually had a great post on Friday. We can see this screenshot shows some amazing account growth. And they said, another day, another dollar. I think you guys can guess from the graph when I joined the trading floor. Thanks, as always, to Mike, Tom, and everyone in the Discord for being so helpful, because I still don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm getting better every day. So huge shout out to you, and keep up the great growth going forward. We can see there was a lot of great action on Friday, so let's definitely keep on rolling all around. If you guys are into short-term trading, definitely check out the first link in the description in the comments down below, because the StockedUp trading floor officially has the best deal going on for the trading floor. If you use coupon code GRAVY100, you will be able to get access to the trading floor at the greatest price possible. This is our Black Friday event, and basically you get full access to our army of custom robots, our daily big money plays. You can chat with Tom and myself all day long, access our weekly live events, as well as all past recordings and everything you need as a short-term trader. It is the place to be. There's so much you'll learn, and the technology that you get access to is something that you will not find anywhere else. We could see on Friday, just on Friday alone, there were some massive movers with some Wolf call options that popped up by 220%, some Boeing call options that popped up by 179%, Moderna call options that popped up by 176%, and even some counter trend opportunities with CrowdStrike, Nvidia, and KSS as well. But there was much more craziness besides the price action on Friday. On Thursday, there were some 578% moves with Google puts, among many other crazy movers. So definitely check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. It is the place to be. But besides that, we are set for an exciting week. Like we said earlier, it will be a shorter week than normal, but we have the crypto mania still rolling. We have some exciting earnings as well as some exciting economic events. So it should be an exciting week. If you guys are new to the channel, consider obliterating that subscribe button to get our videos recommended to you more often. Besides that, thank you all so much for watching, and let's crush it in the market this week.